The sperm that made you carried its own mitochondria. They reached the egg, and then they were tagged and destroyed. That's a fact about your own origin, and almost nobody knows it. I want to walk you through what actually happens, why nobody is certain it happens for the reason you'd assume, and then tell you about a spectacular claim that got taken apart in public. That last part is the reason I'm making this video. Let's start with what most people think they know. You inherit your mitochondria from your mother. That's taught everywhere. It's the basis of maternal lineage tracing, and it's correct. But if you ask people why, the usual answer is that sperm don't carry mitochondria, or that the tail falls off outside. Neither is right. Sperm carry a substantial number of mitochondria, packed into the midpiece just behind the head. They're there for an obvious reason. Swimming is expensive. Those mitochondria produce the energy for the journey. And at fertilization, the whole sperm enters the egg, head, midpiece, tail. The mitochondria go in with it. So the question isn't how do paternal mitochondria stay out, it's what happens to them once they're in. The answer is that they're systematically destroyed. In mammals, the mechanism runs on ubiquitin. Ubiquitin is a small protein that cells attach to things as a label, and a chain of them is essentially a disposal tag. Tag something with polyubiquitin and the cell's degradation machinery comes for it. Paternal mitochondria get that tag, and here's the detail I keep coming back to. The tagging happens during sperm production, before fertilization, before there's an egg involved at all. Think about what that means. The mitochondria that power the sperm's swim are already marked for demolition while they're doing the job. They're built with an expiry label attached. Once inside the egg, the disposal systems recognize those tags and take them apart. Researchers have shown you can block this by inhibiting the proteasome, which is the machine that shreds tagged proteins. Block it, and the paternal mitochondria stick around. That's how you know the ubiquitin system is genuinely doing the work. In mice, two specific enzymes have been identified that attach these tags, and they act redundantly, meaning either one can do the job if the other fails. Redundancy is what you build into systems you can't afford to have break. Now let me show you why I'm confident this matters, rather than being some quirk. Look at how many different ways different animals achieve it. In worms, the paternal mitochondria get engulfed by autophagosomes, the cell's self-digestion vesicles, and delivered to lysosomes. In one species of fish, the number of mitochondrial DNA packages is reduced during sperm production, and after fertilization, the remaining paternal DNA is degraded before the structures themselves are dismantled. In fruit flies, an enzyme chews up the paternal mitochondrial DNA during sperm production. And in mutants where that fails, the leftover packages get swept up by structures called investment cones and deposited into something researchers named a waste bag. Different lineages, different molecular machinery, same outcome. That's convergent evolution, and it's one of the strongest signals in biology that a function is important. When unrelated organisms independently invent solutions to the same problem, the problem is real. So what is the problem? Here's where I have to be honest with you. Nobody knows. Researchers have proposed several explanations, and the field openly describes the answer as still a mystery. One idea is that sperm mitochondria are damaged goods. They've spent the swim producing energy hard, generating reactive oxygen species, and arrive in poor condition. Destroying them is quality control. Another is about genetic conflict. If you carried two mitochondrial lineages, they'd be in competition inside every cell, and a lineage that replicated faster could spread even if it was worse at producing energy. Enforcing a single line prevents that. And the third is the one I find most striking. The egg may be treating those mitochondria the way any cell treats an invading bacterium. There's a specialized form of autophagy called xenophagy that cells use specifically against microbes that get inside. Researchers have noted the parallel directly and pointed out that mitochondria are believed to originate from a bacterial endosymbiont. If you saw my video about your immune system recognizing mitochondrial components as bacterial, this is the same theme from another direction. Something in your cells still reads these as foreign. Alright. Now the part I actually built this video around. In 2018, a paper appeared in a major journal reporting that this system sometimes fails. The researchers described paternal mitochondrial DNA in 17 individuals across 3 unrelated families. The finding was confirmed by 2 independent laboratories. The paper described the evidence as clear and provocative. This is a genuinely enormous claim. Maternal inheritance underpins a large amount of human genetics, including how population lineages are traced. If it can be biparental, quite a lot needs rethinking. And then the field did what it's supposed to do. Other researchers raised a specific technical objection. Over evolutionary time, fragments of mitochondrial DNA have been copied into the nuclear genome. They're called nuclear mitochondrial segments, and occasionally they're nearly full length. If you have one of those, and you sequence for mitochondrial DNA, that nuclear copy can get amplified alongside the real thing, and look like a second mitochondrial genome. And critically, a nuclear insertion would be inherited from either parent, like any other nuclear gene, which would produce exactly the pattern that was reported. One group reanalyzed the original sequencing files and calculated that the probability of the findings as originally interpreted was most likely below 10 to the minus 37. Then came the study that settled it for most people. A team sequenced over 11,000 families. They found 7 cases with a similar genetic signature, but when they looked at the nuclear genome as well, they found large nuclear mitochondrial insertions in those individuals, and concluded that the pattern was nuclear inheritance mimicking paternal transmission. Their overall conclusion was no evidence of paternal transmission across 11,000 families. One of the critical letters was titled, plainly, "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence." I'd add one more number that puts the whole thing in perspective. The egg contains something like 10,000 times more copies of mitochondrial DNA than a sperm does. Even if a few paternal copies survived, they'd be a rounding error in an ocean of maternal ones. So here's why this is the video, and not just an interesting aside. You saw a headline in 2018 if you follow science news. Central dogma overturned. Fathers can pass on mitochondria after all. You almost certainly did not see the follow-up. The reanalyses, the 11,000 families, the technical explanation involving nuclear insertions. Corrections don't travel. The original claim is still sitting in articles and videos, uncorrected, being repeated. That asymmetry is the single most useful thing I can tell you about how science reaches you. I don't have a lever today. There's nothing to do with any of this. What I'd offer instead is the pattern. When you see a dramatic finding, the interesting question is usually not, is this true? It's what happened next, and did anyone tell me? Now where my recommendation sits, and today it's simply separate. CoQ10 is a carrier in the electron transport chain, moving electrons between complexes so ATP can be produced. Levels tend to decline as we age. That's a claim about the machinery, and it has nothing to do with inheritance. If you want to support that machinery on its own merits, the link in the description below is an affiliate link to Mitochondrial, which is PQQ and CoQ10, with a 90-day money-back guarantee. And if you want a channel that tells you what happened after the headline, subscribe. This video is educational only, and it's not medical advice.